Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 6 of What If Naruto Learned the Clone Secret in the Beginning. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, stay in tune for What If Naruto was given a second chance over on Anime King. And later on, I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was a Sasuke King. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you guys enjoy. And I'm also going to be posting What If Naruto got his memory sealed away on this channel. So stay tuned for that as well, guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Begin the intro. So the last time we left off, Naruto insulted Zabuza about his eyebrows, making Zabuza got rather pissed, as Naruto signaled Sasuke to do it. Sasuke released a massive fireball as Naruto added wind chakra to it, as it created a firestorm that incinerated the Zabuza clones, forcing real Zabuza to jump away, seeing that he couldn't chop right through the attack, freeing Kakashi. Zabuza got back to his feet and rushed towards them, but Kakashi flashed in front of him, with Kakashi now focusing and no longer holding back. The battle was done in minutes, as Kakashi pinned Zabuza to a tree. He was about to slit Zabuza's neck when Haku arrived, as Haku told him that he was a missing nin after Zabuza for some time now. As they allowed Haku to take Zabuza, Kakashi fell over, but Naruto and his clones went to pick him up as they head back to Tazuna's house, meeting Tsunami and Inari. Inari complaining, telling them that they should all go home because they're all going to die one way or another. As they told the story, well, Tazuna told the story about Inari's hero, and from the day that man died, Inari stopped believing in heroes. The next morning, Naruto was helping Sasuke and Sakura. Sakura was really, well, annoying, as she didn't want to do what Naruto said, so Naruto put her through extra training, making her curse that Naruto was a slave driver, and Sasuke wasn't taking any lip from Naruto, not doing anything that Naruto said. As Naruto followed Tazuna to the bridge, after going back, Naruto saw some kids, as one of them begged him food. As Naruto went and used his clone to catch fish, and create a fire pit and cook for all of them, as the kids were happy, as he told them that he is helping the man to create a bridge, so that they can be happy again, as all of the kids love him and cheered his name. Coming back home, Inari was still complaining, as Naruto had enough and went over to Inari and told him that he has nothing to complain about. So what, his hero died? There are people out there that are suffering worse than him. He has a mother here, good food. He has a grandfather here. Sakura had enough as she stood up, as Naruto told her to shut her mouth, as she quickly sat down, as he ranted on Inari. Inari getting scared as he wanted to cry because Naruto was beyond pissed. As Naruto got up and walked away, telling Kakashi that he's going to do some training, as Kakashi told him not to push himself too hard, as Inari ran outside. Kakashi then went outside as he saw the little boy crying, as he decided to talk to the boy. Meanwhile, Haku had got back the demon brother, giving them instruction to watch over Zabuza and do not let him leave the bed. Arriving at the open field to get some herbs, Haku saw one of the blonde ninjas. Yes, that blonde one, he was there. Going over, it will be quick to end his life and not cause Zabuza-sama any more trouble. So yeah guys, that was basically last part left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So, what do you say we give this new episode? Haku looked over the boy. There was ripped and tear in his clothing. showing off his surprisingly muscular figure. There was a lot of kunais and shurikens all around, and dry blood as well on his clothes and the ground. Haku reached a hand out to the boy's throat. He was an injured since Zabuza's plan. The best option was to remove him right now, and he wouldn't cause Zabuza any more trouble. But Haku paused midway and placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. "Hey, wake up. You'll catch a cold if you sleep out here," Haku said. As Naruto groaned a bit and slowly opened his eyes, the first thing came out of his lips. "Angel?" Haku blushed, being called an angel. "Oh, I'm afraid not, seeing that you'll have to be dead for us to meet if I was an angel." Naruto blinked a bit as he started to clear his vision, as he stretched and yawned. As Naruto turned to look at the person who had woken him, it was a young woman who looked to be maybe a year or two older than him. Long dark brown hair and chocolate brown eyes, wearing a pink kimono with blue flowers on it, as she had a small black choker on her neck, as she was giving him a small smile. As Naruto blushed a bit, sorry, as he was unsure what to say, Haku giggled a bit. "That's perfectly alright, but you should be more careful if you stay out here all night long. You might catch a cold and die, and then you'll really see an angel." "Huh? I didn't know colds could kill," Naruto said. "And in any case, I'd never been sick a day in my life." He then looked over at Haku. "So what about you? What are you doing out here this early in the morning?" "Oh, my friend got injured a while ago, so I'm picking some herbs to help with his recovery." "Oh, that's pretty cool," Naruto said. "I've been reading about herbs since I picked up a book about gardening a while ago, but I don't really know too much. Hey, do you need any help picking them?" "That would be nice," Haku said. Naruto nodded as he formed a quick hand sign. Shadow Clone Jutsu. A clone appeared next to Naruto before it hopped off the house, as Haku was looking at him curiously. "It's a clone," he said, figuring that was why she was looking at him. "I had offered to help one of my teammates with his training. If I don't show up, he'll probably come looking for me." As Haku nodded, feeling that this would be a good time to gain some information and some insights on these ninjas for Zabuza. "So, you're a ninja?" she asked. Meanwhile, Sasuke frowned as he looked around the room and saw no sign of Naruto. I should have known that idiot wouldn't be here. He probably realized he couldn't help me and left." "Well, that's not very nice, teen. Probably if that's the way you feel, I shouldn't help you," Naruto said as he walked inside. Said Sasuke, as he then turned back to Naruto. "Why were you out already?" "Well, I usually wake up this early in the morning to do my own training." Sasuke smirked. "You sure you just didn't fall asleep in the forest?" As Naruto blushed in embarrassment. "Shut up, teen. Are we going to do this or not?" Smirk still in place, Sasuke left without grumbling. Naruto followed him. "I can't believe I'm actually going to help him in his training," the clone mumbled. "If I was that clone and given orders to help this prick, I would kick the boss's ass." Meanwhile, "So why did you decide to be a shinobi?" asked Haku. Naruto paused as he grabbed the herb and pulled it out of the ground. "Well, I became a shinobi so I could gain the respect of my village. You see, I plan on becoming the greatest Hokage to ever grace the elemental nations." "I see," Haku said. "That's quite a grand dream. So, what's a ninja doing out this early in the morning?" "Oh, training," Naruto said. "Well, after all, destroying several hundreds of oneself could be considered training, right?" he thought to himself. "So why are you training?" Haku asked. "To become super strong, of course," Naruto said. As Haku looked him up and down. "Well, you seem plenty strong now." "Maybe, but I'm not strong enough. I have to become stronger." "To become Hokage?" Haku asked. Naruto nodded. "Not just become Hokage, but the greatest Hokage ever." "Are you doing this for someone else or yourself?" Naruto sat back down as he rubbed the back of his head, thinking about that question. Haku noticed the look and covered a hand to her mouth as she giggled. "Hey," Naruto said, "what's so funny?" "Oh, nothing," Haku said with a small smile. "So, do you have someone who's important to you?" "Someone important?" Naruto said. Haku nodded, remembering Zabuza, who gave her purpose in her life. When a person has something important to protect, that is when they become truly strong. Listening to those words, Naruto remembered Iruka-sensei protecting from Mizuki and allowing to graduate afterwards. His mind flashed to the old man, the Hokage, who has been with him ever since he was kicked out of the orphanage. And he remembered the Ichiraku family, who owned the restaurant, aka the only food stand that didn't kick him out. And he remembered Anko helping him, as she was, one of his precious person as well. He remembered Rock Lee and Guy, is growing improvement with the bow staff, thanks to Tenten, her father Kaido, who gave him the bow staff. They were all people that he has grown close to. He would easily fight to protect them. He would give his life. Well, I know exactly what you mean, Naruto said. You will get stronger, Haku said. Standing up, Haku looked at Naruto. By the way, I'm a boy. As Haku started to walk away. You're lying, Naruto said. Standing up and walking over to Haku as Haku stopped. You almost got me there, but there's no way you can be a guy. Oh? What makes you say that, Haku asks. Well, the first thing is you have no Adam sample, as Naruto has been reading up on the human body and everything, seeing that he wants to learn as much as he can. Second, you're far too pretty to be a man, Naruto said. As Haku blushed, as Naruto chuckled. It's a shame I can't make Uncle turn red like that. He shook his head as he cursed Uncle for corrupting him. And secondly, no self-respecting male would smell so much of lavender. And Lily. I see, said Haku, surprised that someone had called her out, though a part of her mind was trying to come up with an excuse to tell why she was acting like a boy. But Naruto beat her to it. I'm guessing you're posing as a male because of Gato reigning over the island. Yes, Gato man has been known to do things to women that were very wrong when they catch alone. Yeah, I could imagine slime that worked for Gato would do things like that. I know, Naruto said, why don't I escort you home? So if anyone of Gato's goon tried to touch you, I'll beat the crap out of them. Haku giggled, but she started to grow worried as she tried to find a way out of the situation. That's okay, I don't want to interrupt your training. I have already taken too much of your time. Please, do not concern yourself. I have been evading Gato's man ever since he came here. Oh, well okay, Naruto said. As Haku started to walk again. Wait, Naruto said as he catch up with her. Yes, said Haku. Well, Naruto said, squirming a bit. I was just wondering if I could see you tomorrow again, maybe. Haku bit her lip as she was presented with this new dilemma. On one hand, she can learn more about Zabuza's enemy. On the other hand, she will be playing the young man's heart. And for some strange reason, he reminded her of herself. However, her desire to help Zabuza was over anything else. I can do that, she said with a warm smile, even as her stomach turned a bit. What time would you like to meet? How about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, Naruto said with a smile. Okay then, I'll meet you here tomorrow at 7 AM. She gave him a small bow before leaving. Sighing, Naruto scratched his head. So what should I do now? He can start training again. He did not train his body yesterday because he was protecting Zabuza and slaughtering all his clones last night, but he couldn't call that training. Yeah, I'll train, he said, but then his stomach released a loud growl. Should probably get something to eat first. In another clearing, the clone watched Sasuke run up the tree. He had made some improvements, going 20 steps up the tree. Sasuke grunted as his foot was blasted off the trunk from using so much chakra, but he managed to scratch it with a kunai though. Damn it, that's all? How can I gain the strength to kill Itachi when I can't even do this, he cursed. Look like you're using too much chakra still, Naruto said. Shut it dope, said Sasuke. Hey, don't yell at me. I'm here to help you, know that? Some help you are, Sasuke said. All you do is say, I'm using too much chakra. I see. Alright then. Do what you want, Naruto said as he turned around and started to walk away. Wait. As Naruto stopped and looked back at Sasuke, it looked like he was swallowing something vile, as it was hard for him to say. I'm sorry, he said. I need your help. As Naruto chuckled inside. Well, I suppose I could, he said. Alright, now listen. Your first problem is, you're using too much chakra. Sasuke scowled but did not say anything. Well, I think the reason is, you're not thinking with a clear head. Whenever I did this exercise, if I thought about anything else than the tree, I would fall off. As he paused to see if Sasuke understand, receiving a nod from Sasuke, he continued. So what you need to do is clear your mind. Don't think of how you cannot do this, or that you're superior to everyone else, or how you want to kill your brother for what he did to your clan. Sasuke stopped and glared at Naruto. How do you know about that, he asked. I read the bingo book, and your brother was in there. It said that he was wanted for killing the Uchiha clan. It wasn't hard to figure out who the man you wanted to kill after that. And while I can understand why you want to get your revenge, thinking about that is just a distraction now. Now clear your mind and channel your chakra. Sasuke sighed. He decided to clear his mind completely. Probably couldn't hurt, as he started to walk up a tree. As Sasuke was walking the tree with his eyes closed, focusing. Hey! Sasuke opened his eyes. What the hell? He looked up to see that he was near to the top, and he still hadn't fallen yet, as he went over to one of the branches, walking on it. As he saw Naruto smirking down there. I guess it worked. As a small smirk came to his face. I guess the dope is useful. For some things after all, he thought. Later that night, Sasuke's arm was around Naruto's shoulder, as Naruto helped him to the table. Sasuke can Sakura scream as she went over, as everyone winks and cover their ears at the loudness of her voice. Naruto Baka, what did you do to Sasuke-kun? Quiet, Sakura, Naruto said. Naruto said in an annoyed tone, I was just helping Sasuke with his training. As he looked over at Kakashi, he can reach the top now, so we're gonna work on perfecting it. Kakashi raised an eyebrow. What do you mean perfecting? Naruto grunted as he set Sasuke down at the table, as Sasuke rested still on the table as soon as he was seated. Well, I was told that 3 exercises is not fully completed until you can stay on that surface for at least an hour while in combat. That's actually a good idea. As Kakashi looked over at Sakura, tomorrow, Naruto and I will be guarding the bridge. I want you and Sasuke to work on mastering tree climbing. Sakura paled a bit at that, but she nodded. Yes, Kakashi-sensei, she said. Good. You don't have a problem with this, do you, Naruto? Asked Kakashi. That's fine. I can get my training done early in the morning before we leave. Excellent. I'll be counting on you to back me up, in case something happens. You just want me there so if something does happen, you can read your porn while I do all the fighting, right? No, you know that's not true, Naruto, Kakashi said in a hurt voice. Well, it would have been a bit sympathetic if he didn't start to read his porn right after. I would never let a comrade fight on his own if I could help it. Naruto rolled his eyes as he started eating. You would be more convincing if you weren't reading your porn right now, Sensei. Well, you never know when I'll get another chance, said Kakashi as he turned the page, ignoring the glare from the 2 females in the house. Especially if something happened tomorrow. I have to use my time wisely after all. Huh, just admit it. You're a lazy ass bastard who doesn't want to do anything else than read his porn, Naruto said. As Sakura got intensely red. Would you two shut up, she said. I don't want to hear about Sensei's porn addiction. Yeah, I don't want to hear about her dirty old Sensei reading porn, said inner Sakura. As Naruto and Kakashi looked over, the both of them shrugged. Sure, Sakura, Naruto said. If you want, we can talk about how you have a shrine of Sasuke hidden in the back of your closet instead. As Kakashi dropped his book as he fight to keep from laughing. As Kazuna did laugh, Iniero was confused, wondering why someone have a shrine of someone else in their closet. Tsunami blushed a bit as she wondered if Sakura might have some mental problems. As Sasuke turned pale. Naruto, Sakura said, as she clenched her fist tight. How the hell did he know that? That she had a shrine in her closet that she prayed to every morning of Sasuke? You're dead, she said. The next morning, Naruto was finished making breakfast, as he sealed it up in a container and then sealed it in a scroll, as he headed out to meet Haku in the clearing. Meanwhile, Haku just finished taking a bath, as she put on her kimono. She was not wearing her chest bindings to make her look like a boy. She looked in the mirror as she grabbed her brush and started to comb her hair, as she thought why she was doing this. Zabuza always told her to know their enemy for an easier victory, but she was sure he was just quoting from someone else. He may be skilled, but he was nowhere intelligent enough to come up with a saying like that. Wait, she thought, why am I getting so dressed up? She often took care of her appearance, giving her silky, smooth skin and her silky black hair. But she had never bothered to comb her hair other than necessary times she needed to get knots out. Nor had she worn makeup before, something she was now wearing. Well, it was just a hint of lipstick that she found in her bag. For the time she had went somewhere in disguise to gather information for Zabuza. She shook her head, thinking about it was going to help, as she headed off. Time skip. Naruto. Naruto turned around with a smile as he saw Haku. Hey Haku-chan, how you doing? He blinked, noticing that her chest was larger than last time. Since Haku was wearing her bindings yesterday, Naruto never noticed them before, but now it was completely different. Despite being fully clothed, Haku covered her chest. You know, it's embarrassing when you look at me like that. Naruto's face became instantly red like a tomato. I was just surprised because yesterday, as he kept on stuttering. Haku giggled. It's okay. I suppose it would be surprising. I usually wear chest bindings to hide them. Oh. Okay, Naruto said, so how about we start again? How are you doing, he said. Oh, I'm doing well, thank you. And what about you, did you have a nice sleep? Yeah, it was good, better than sleeping out in the woods, than when I first did when we first meet. I did have some fun yesterday as well, beating the crap out of Sasuke Teen. Sasuke Teen, said Haku. Yeah, Sasuke Teen, said Naruto. Who's that, she asked. As Naruto remembered that she did not meet his teammate before. Oh, Sasuke is one of my teammates, he said. All Konoha ninja operate in a 4-man team. 3 Genins and 1 Jonin. Sasuke is my teammate. And let me tell you, the prick is a real piece of work. But he was surprisingly calm after our training. Well, Sasuke was too tired to really get angry at Naruto, but Naruto didn't really care about that. So why would you beat the crap out of him? Asked Haku. Training, Naruto said, giggling a bit. I was helping him learn how to tree climb. Tree climb? Said Haku, as she asked in a voice that was curious. She knew of course what it was, but she had to keep her appearance. Yeah, it's an exercise that all our ninja do. Basically, we use an energy called chakra at the bottom of our feet to climb up any vertical surface. That sounds pretty amazing, Haku said. I suppose it is, Naruto said. I remember when I helped him get all the way to the top. He looked so smug, thinking that he was a badass. I had to burst his bubble though, telling him that he hadn't fully controlled the technique until he can fight on the surface. Naruto then reached into his kunai pouch as Haku narrowed her eyes at him as he pulled out a scroll. As he laid the scroll on the floor and unrolled it, as Haku saw him channel chakra into a containment scroll, there was a small poof of smoke. As Haku saw a container of breakfast, there were pancakes, bacons, and a pitcher of orange juice, all of it laid over a blanket. Breakfast? Haku said in surprise. She did not expect him to do something like this. It was heartwarming. Yeah, well, I thought since I asked you to meet me and all, it would only be proper if I made you some breakfast. As he looked away as he finished, small blush spread across his face. As Haku found herself being flustered as well, as her cheeks got pink a bit. Thank you, she said, smiling as she sat down. No problem, nurse says. He handed her a plate as he placed food on it. As Haku watched him take some food as well, she looked at the plate for a moment, not ruling out the possibility of it being poisoned. Such a tactic was often used against ninjas in assassination missions. However, she did not think that he would do that. He seemed far too of a kind person to do that. And also, he did not know or have any idea who she was, right? Sometime you're too soft, Haku. She remembered those words that Zabuza said to her. Even to this day, she was not wanting to kill her opponents. She rather let them go after defeating them if they didn't deserve it. She didn't see a reason to kill them. Well, scum like Gato, people like him deserve to die. But mostly in battle, she always knocked them unconscious so that they can complete their mission without needless deaths. You okay? As Haku was snapping her thoughts. Why aren't you eating? Is it bad, Naruto asked, as he hoped it wasn't bad all the time he spent cooking and Peep couldn't eat it. Oh no, she said as she picked up a fork and started to grab a decent size of food with it. I was just thinking about something else. As she took a bite. It's good, she said, as she took another bite. You think so, Naruto says. You're back of his head. I only started to cook a month ago, so I wasn't sure how good I've gotten. Well, you don't need to worry, it's good. Especially since you only started a month ago. A little more practice, and if you didn't want to be a ninja, you could end up being a chef. No, that's the idea. When I retire from Inokage, I could probably work at Ichiraku Ramen. Oh, what's that? Haku saw fire burning in her eyes. Oh, Ichiraku Ramen is the best ramen stand in the world that sell the most wonderfulest ramen in the world. The food that God bestowed on us, Naruto said. Well, I like sushi better. What? How could you like rotten fish instead of ramen, Naruto said. Sushi's not rotten fish, she said. And it's far better than those disgusting, unhealthy noodles. As she gave Naruto a smirk. And that's probably why you're so short. Hey, I'm not short, Naruto said. How dare she insult him for his height? Ever since he entered the academy, he was the shortest person in the class, so he was oversensitive about the subject. Hey, I've grown old too. He paused, blushing in embarrassment. Inches, since I started to eat things other than ramen. Haku burst out laughing, as she started to hold her side. Hey, it's not funny, Naruto said. So what if it made me short? It's still the food of the gods. I'm sorry, Haku said, as she sit back up. The reason why you like ramen so much, those people, are they precious to you? Well, yeah, Naruto said. They were different from anyone else. They didn't see me as a monster. Haku heard the tone of his voice change immediately. And they also gave me free food when I didn't have enough money. As she looked at him with wide eyes, the tone of his voice, the way it sounded, it was the exact same tone she had before Zabuza found her. It was then that she realized why he reminded her so much of herself. She looked into his eyes and saw the same thing that she had before she was given a purpose. The pain of loneliness. Having no one there for you. Being by yourself. I had people dear to me once, a long time ago. As Naruto looked over at Haku, she started to speak. My parents. I was born in a small, snowy village in Mizunokune. My parents were very kind people and I was happy. But growing up and started to learn the ways of this world, I found out something she said. He noticed her expression as he placed a hand on her shoulder. If it hurt you, don't have to talk about it. Just because I share my past, Naruto said. I don't want to cause you any pain. Haku looked up in shock as she realized she was just about to tell him something that only Zabuza knew of. But there was something strange. For some odd reason, she wanted to tell him. Like, she wanted him to know about her past, so that he knew that he was not alone. No, she said, shaking her head, I want to tell you. Maybe keeping this in for too long. Maybe finally telling someone can help. As Naruto nodded, my father. He had gathered a mob, and then he killed my mother. As Naruto was beyond shock hearing that. Then, he tried to kill me, she said. What? Said Naruto, as he was surprised. The country of Mizo has had endless civil wars, and those with Kekkei Genkai, they came to be hated. Because of this clan with Kekkei Genkai, bloodlines were used in countless battles. As a result, the clans, they were all blamed for the cycle of war that have plagued the country. So, the Kekkei Genkai clans were being killed out. You have a Kekkei Genkai? Said Naruto. Yes, Haku said. My mother was from one of the clans that had a Kekkei Genkai. My father discovered this because I was careless and I used it in front of him. A few tears came to her eyes but she wiped them away. I discovered my powers and went to show them to my mom. I thought they were so cool at the time and wanted to show it to her, to make her be proud. But I remember her slapping me and telling me never to use it again. But then, I did it. It was an accident. I remember my father coming home. I saw the rage in his eyes. Then he killed my mom and tried to kill me as well. Haku paused as more tears started to come. She was telling her enemy and showing how weak she was. Why was she doing this? Not only did she had no reason for telling him, but he could use this information against them if he found out who she was. She was shaking from her thoughts and she felt something touch her face. Asked her to wipe away her tears. You don't have to say anymore. He saw her eyes. It was the same as his when the villagers were too much on him. But Haku found herself compelled. No, I want to, she said. After that, he tried to kill me, and I was forced to kill my own father and the mob that was with him. In my panic, I accidentally activated my Kekkei Genkai and used it to kill them. After I ran, I ended up going through the trash cans for food. There was less and less. I slowly saw my life slipping away from me. I thought I was going to die. I was ready to die, she said. Naruto didn't know when it happened, but she then started to clutch on him, holding on to him like he was some sort of lifeline, making him rather surprised as he looked down at her. Seeing her shaking form, Naruto pulled her close as he hugged her. One hand running through her hair, the other one wrapped around her. It's okay. Let it all out, he said. As Naruto was not sure how long he'd stay like that, with Haku lying there, crying. But he didn't really care. She had suffered a lot more than he has. If he knew his parents and they tried to kill him, it would have probably broken him a long time ago. But she was still here surviving, to show how strong her spirit was. I'm sorry, she said, after getting her crying out of her system. I don't know what came over me. In all the time she had been a tool, she never cried. She has been always useful to Zabuza, she never cried, and here she was, crying, in front of him. It's okay, Naruto said, as he placed a hand around her shoulder. As Haku felt warmth, as she leaned into him. Even knowing that he was an enemy, she felt the odd sense of peace settling over her. They stayed that while for a little longer until Naruto asked a question. So do you have someone important to protect? I do. However, I don't think he will understand anything if I were to tell him this. She had told Zabuza about this as well, but all he did was give her a blank stare, like he didn't really understand. As Naruto sighed and leaned his head on Haku. As he took in her scent, the only person he ever been this close to was Anko. And Anko smelled like blood, snakes, dango, and sake. Not a pleasant smell. Well, the mixture was really strange. I should probably go, she said. Zabuza must be wondering where she is. She told me that she was going to go and gather herbs. Yeah, Naruto says he released her. Chances, my sensei, is most likely looking for me as well. The two stood up as Naruto readied a clone to pick up the picnic. As Haku then moved forward and gave him a hug. He felt a bit embarrassed since she was slightly taller than him. Thank you, she said, as he hugged her back. Don't mention it, Naruto said, getting hugged by such a pretty girl. I think I should be the one thanking you. Haku blushed at the compliment that he gave her. Having posed as a guy for so long, she never usually received compliments. I had a nice time, she said. Maybe. We can do this again tomorrow. She knew it was wrong to be so close to the enemy, but he understood her. I would love to, Naruto said. Same time tomorrow? Yes, she said, a smile. Time skip. You're late, Kakashi said, as Kakashi was reading his book with Tazuna at his side. We've been waiting for an hour, you know. Oh, sorry about that. I ran into one of Zabuza's accomplices and had to fight him to the death. Kakashi stopped reading his book as he looked up at Naruto. As he gave Naruto a smile. Naruto, I'm so proud of you. Coming up with such an awesome excuse. It seems like my time being your sensei has surely changed you a lot. Yeah, let's go with that, Naruto said. So, let's get this show on the road, shall we? We would have done that an hour ago if you had been here, said Tazuna. I'm gonna pretend that I didn't hear that. And pretend that you say, oh, I'm glad you're here, Naruto, because you're at least not 3 hours late, like Kakashi. Kakashi simply shrugged. Well, don't worry. I'm sure if you work on it some more, you can't be 3 hours late like me. You know that was the compliment, right? Said Naruto, as they kept on walking. Time skip 3 days later. It has been 6 days now since they were here, and thanks to Naruto's Sakura, she had increased her stamina a bit. She had not mastered tree climbing, but at least she doubled her reserves. But she still didn't want to do any physical exercises, fearing that she would become looking too manly. Both Kakashi and Naruto tried to get her out of that phase, but neither of them had any luck with it, so they gave up. As Sasuke had mastered tree climbing, he also admitted to himself that the dope was probably alright. He noticed the more time he spent with Naruto, the stronger he got, so he did not complain or let his jealousy get to him that much. Not that it really changed anything, Naruto still thought that he was a brute in teen, and Sasuke still believed that he was a blonde idiot that was inferior to him in all ways. As Naruto probably improved the most, not that anyone else knew that except for Kakashi, seeing that Naruto kept his training by himself. He managed to learn Shunshin and even know how to do it without hand signs. It could give him an extra boost. He had also mastered water walking and was now adding a leaf, flowing exercise to it. He had also increased his training seal to level 2, making everything a bit heavier, as it took at least 2 days for him to move while wearing level 2, but he was now moving around with it though. He had to constantly increase his body with a flow of chakra so that he could move, but it was making him get a lot stronger and faster, and he would just have to fight through the weight. And after a while he slowly decreased the chakra that he was using, so his body could take on all the pressure and weight itself, increasing his stamina and strength and speed. So far he can only slice the leaf, just a way through, not completely in half. But it was good, because all of his Winjutsus take a lot less chakra to use, and they were coming out on a higher scale. It seems like doing this was improving his Winafinte a lot. Well, his control over it. As the house was changing as well, Inari, even though still quiet. He wasn't making comments about Naruto as well, and Naruto even caught him following some time, watching him train, but he was not sure what that was about. His relationship with Sakura hadn't changed. She still tried to hit him on all that, but Naruto wouldn't give her the chance to do that. Well, he even started to torture her, giving every chance, telling her about her obsession with Sasuke, and made her very pissed. Kakashi also would treat him well. Well, he did treat him well before, but he seemed to have grown more respect for Naruto, as Naruto wondered if it had something to do with the excuse that he made up. As he also met Haku in the same clearing every day, since they met. As Naruto regaled her in tales of his pranks, as they didn't talk about that experience that Haku had anymore. The both of them understand each other well, as they saw how similar their life was, so they just used these times to enjoy each other's company. If Haku was honest with herself, being with Naruto was the most fun she had ever had. But she knew it had to end soon. As we currently have Haku looking through the window, she was going to meet up with Naruto today. It was the last day they were going to see each other as friends. Zabuza was completely healed and told her the plan to kill the bridge builder was tomorrow. That is why she decided on having dinner with Naruto, other than breakfast like normal. As she looked at herself in the mirror one more time before leaving her room. Going somewhere? Haku turned as she saw Zabuza lean against the wall. "You're going to see that boy again, aren't you?" "How did you know?" she asked. She knew that it wasn't going to do her any good if she lied to Zabuza, so she didn't try. "Since you came back the second time to get herbs, and you had this odd glow about you," as he put up quotation marks when he said getting herbs. From what I understand, that only happens when a girl become a woman. Haku blushed at what he was implying. "We haven't done anything like that," she said. Zabuza chuckled to see Haku becoming embarrassed. "There are other ways to become a woman," he said. "And you would know," she said. "Whoa, looks like the claws are out today," said Zabuza. "I don't think you ever snapped at me unless I hurt myself." "I'm sorry, Zabuza-sama," she said. "It's fine," he said, not really caring that she was a bit snappish. As he then paused, he then got serious. "You know I don't approve of this. Getting close to the enemy unless you're going to assassinate him is not what a ninja would do. However, I'm not going to stop you if you're going to see him." You won't?" she said. "You're not a child, Haku. You can make choices for yourself. I'm not going to stop you." As he then started to walk away. "Just don't make your feelings get over you. When you're ready to take down the bridge builder and everything should be fine." As he walked away, leaving behind a conflicted Haku. Meanwhile, the house, "Going somewhere, Naruto?" asked Kakashi. As Naruto left the dinner table. "Oh, I'm just gonna go and get some fresh air. You said that tomorrow chances are that Zabuza will be healed. I'm feeling a bit nervous." The other two looked at Naruto in surprise. The old Naruto would have never admit about being nervous about anything. Kakashi knew that Naruto was lying, but what he was lying about, Kakashi was unsure of. "That's understandable," he said. "Just don't stay up too late. We'll be waking up early tomorrow." "Don't worry, I'll be fine," Naruto said. "And even if I'm late, I'm gonna tell Zabuza about the black cat that crossed my path, forcing me to take the other way around." "Well, perhaps," said Kakashi, "but I don't think you'll get a joke like I would." As everyone's sweat dropped. "Whatever," Naruto said as he left. Walking into the clearing, Naruto saw that Haku was already there. "Haku-chan," he said, as she gave him a customary hug. As he hugged her back. "It's good to see you, Naruto-kun," she said. As Naruto grinned as they broke the hug. "You make it sound like we haven't seen each other in years." As Haku gave him a sad smile, but Naruto didn't notice as they went over to one of the trees. Leaning back against the tree, Haku sat beside him as she leaned her head on his chest. This was something that they started doing in their third meeting. As Naruto felt like his face was going to burst the first time she snuggled up into him. And Haku found it amusing, though after the first 15 minutes of blushing and stuttering, he quite enjoyed it. As he put his arm around her waist, pulling her close, as Haku just buried her head deeper into his chest. As they stayed like that for a couple of minutes, before Naruto spoke. "You work for Zabuza, don't you?" he said. Haku went stiff in his arms. "Don't worry," he said. "I don't care if you do." Knowing that Naruto was not the type to lie to her. "Yes," she said. "When did you figure it out?" "The moment you told me about your past. A girl from Kiri with a Kekkei Genkai and a former, Jonin, turned missing ninja, wanted for trying to assassinate the Mizukage. It wasn't that hard to figure out." Despite being surprised that Naruto had known for this long and not said anything to her, Haku nodded. Or maybe she shouldn't be surprised. She knew that he was an enemy, but she did not do nothing against him. "How is Zabuza, by the way?" Naruto asked. Haku sighed. "He's fully healed." "Then I suppose you'll be attacking tomorrow," Naruto said. "Yes," Haku said. As she got quieter. "I wish you wouldn't, you know," Naruto said. "I know," she said. "Are you angry?" "No," Naruto said. "I know you can't help it. This battle is necessary. Zabuza is your precious person. And I know I can't stop you." As Naruto knew how Haku ideals were, they were permanently imprinted. "You know, you don't have to fight if you don't want to," Haku said. "I know," Naruto said. "However, the people here that I care about, Kakashi Sensei, Kazuna and his family, and even my teammates, much as they annoyed me, I can't let them down." As Haku started to cry, as he could feel the tears dropping on him. "You know, you're gonna make it much more harder for me to fight you," she said. "Sorry," he said. Am I precious to you as well? He asks. Of course, she said. Naruto bit his lip. Haku, I have something important I want to tell you. What do you want to tell me? She asks. Well, the day I was born, the Bijou known as Kyubey attacked my village. The next day, the three Genins were ready. Are you ready to go? Kakashi asks. As all of them nodded. Naruto, said Kakashi, as Naruto has been strangely quiet. Something's missing, Naruto said. Oh, multi-shell clone jutsu, as 24 clones came and spread around the house. Just in case that midget Gato decided to send some goons after Tetsuna's family while we're away. That's a very good idea, said Kakashi, giving Naruto a smile. You know, with the way you're all talking, it sounds like these Zabuza characters are come back right now, said Tazuna with a nervous laugh. Sorry, just being careful. So you're ready to go, Tazuna? Time skip. Is the ambush ready? Gato asked from his cell phone. On the small boat under the bridge. The two brothers, Haku and Zabuza, didn't bother to answer him. Are you ready, Haku? Asked Zabuza. Haku hesitated as she put on her mask. Yes, she said. I need you to get your head in the game, Haku. We can't afford to be careless around Kakashi and his brats. I understand, Zabuza-sama, she said. Zabuza looked at her as the two brothers looked confused. Well, let the games begin, he said. Moments later, what is this? Tazuna said. He saw bodies on the bridge, but they were still alive, as a thick fog surrounded the area. As Tazuna ran over to one of them who was still conscious. What happened, Ed? A monster, Ed said, before passing out. So, he's back, said Kakashi. Here they come. Defensive formation, said Kakashi. As the group surrounded Tazuna. Long time no see, Kakashi, said Zabuza, his voice echoing through the mist. I see you're still with those brats. And that one is still shaking. Oh, that's just because he forgot to take a piss before he left. And he wants to go really bad, said Naruto, keeping Sasuke from saying something cool. You wouldn't mind if he goes over the bridge before we get this party started, would you? Dope, Sasuke said in embarrassment. Naruto Baka, said Sakura, as she had an angry blush on her face. Looks like that brat still got a mouth on him. I think I'm gonna fix that. After he said that, a dozen water clones appear on the group, all of them holding the sword attached to their back. Well, I bet I can kill more than you, Naruto said. Sasuke smirked. You're on. With that, the both of them blurred away with speed. As they returned back to their original position, all of the clones burst into water. I think it's 646, Naruto said, as he then turned his head over. Hey, no eyebrows. Do you think you can make another one for the tiebreaker? Cheeky brat, said Zabuza. So they saw through my water clones. My, how you brats have grown. It's a good thing I got my backup with me. On cue, Haku and the two brothers came in the mist. What the hell? Didn't we deal with those two before we came here, Naruto asked. It looks like they managed to escape their confinements, Kakashi said. I thought the envoy would have picked them up. I take it you want the blonde brat, Haku, Zabuza said. Yes, Haku said. You're too soft, Haku, Zabuza said, hearing the hesitation in her voice. Haku did not say anything though as she stepped forward, ready to face Naruto in combat. It's a good thing both Naruto and Sasuke have grown. I didn't take those two brothers escaping. I'm gonna have to talk to the envoys about getting a quicker response. Sasuke, with your increased speed, you should be able to deal with the two brothers. But be wary, last time they were caught off guard, because the element of surprise failed. That won't be the case this time. Whatever, said Sasuke. He had wanted a Hunter Ninja, but 2-on-1 just as good. As he pulled two kunai and dashed forward, Naruto said Kakashi. I know, I got the Hunter Nin. Good luck, said Kakashi, before going off into the mist. As Naruto walked away from Sakura, who was guarding Tazuna. As he stopped a distance away, Haku stopped behind him. Naruto-kun, she said. Don't, Naruto said, the head shake. We both knew that this was going to happen. I don't regret meeting you, even if this battle was inevitable. Do you think you can take off your mask though? I want to see that pretty face of yours. Even though we're supposed to be enemies, Naruto said. Still the charmer, even in battle, said Haku, removing her mask. Hey, no tears, Naruto said, as he saw that she was crying. If you start crying, I'll feel bad, and then probably start crying as well. And then I'll be a hypocrite for calling Iniri out for crying. Oh, I'm sorry, she said. Don't worry, it actually made me feel kind of special, knowing that you can cry for me even though we're supposed to be fighting each other. Then I'm glad I can do this for you, she said. With that, the both of them looked at each other, before dashing forward as they met each other in the center. But guys, to be in this episode right here, if you want the next part, if you still know what to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn the bell notifications to stay posted. Remember, stay in tune for what if Naruto was given a second chance. And also, what if Naruto was a Sasuke king? And later on, I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto got his memory sealed away on this channel. So stay tuned for that as well, and I hope you guys enjoy. And yeah, without further ado, I'm off now. See you guys later. Peace.